man. Let's go.
Guys, welcome back to Brainwaves Unplugged, where we keep all topics unhinged. I'm your host, Keith, and today we're going to be looking at how you can prepare for your career, the decisions that are needed to be made so that you can achieve the success that you want. We are graced to have a guest that I believe is going to be very impactful in the conversation that we're going to have, Godwin Osika. So Godwin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so we're going to be looking at life after university. So I'm just going to be asking Godwin a few questions. He just recently finished his degree program. He's looking forward to getting into the field, and we just want to look at his thought process towards everything that has come through and all the decisions that he's made until he's got here, especially when it even comes to what he expects to achieve in the future. So allow me to start with a question. Okay, so I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. The first question that I want to ask is, obviously I want you to firstly give us a little bit brief about yourself and tell us who you are, what you stand for, where you come from, and then also tell us the program that you chose to study.
All right. I'm humbled. My name is Godwin Osika from Ghana. I come from a small village called Amijope in the Volta region, where life growing up over there is kind of difficult, but then we're able to sail through. So let me start from my higher education. I went to University for Development Studies in Ghana, Tamale, where I pursued Bachelor of Arts in Development Education. So from there, I had the opportunity to do internships with National Commission for Civic Education. These are areas that I was gaining my experience. From there, I also did an internship with environmental health department, and from there I had to work a little. You know, Africa, getting work is not easy, like a fresh graduate, so I had to maneuver my way. And I'm somebody that I do listen. So I once met a young man in a barbering shop who told me that, hey, you know, to get a work it's not easy, but then write so many applications, just write them. When you wake up in the morning, have a map. If you are going to the north, take the north. Every company you reach, just drop an application. Every company you reach, drop application. The next, when you are tired, come back home, sleep. The next day, go to the south, go to the east. So that was what I was doing. And I landed a few jobs. I did till I decided to also further my education, and I came to India. But then coming to India, I wanted to do public policy. That was what I wanted to do because I want to be a voice for the voiceless. To speak for the marginalized, the vulnerables in society. That's women and children, you see. Yeah, African society is mostly patriarchal society. So I wanted to speak for the children and women. So I wanted to do public policy here in India, but then when I came here, I realized public policy hasn't started, and I had to choose a similar program. So the school gave me economics, sociology, psychology, and I think Bachelor of Commerce. I'm somebody that I hate mathematics a lot. So I was like, no, doing Bachelor of Commerce, Master in Commerce wouldn't help me. Economics is also similar to Commerce, so why don't I settle on Sociology? Although mass communication was also an option that I wanted to do because I want to speak for the vulnerable. But then I researched into Sociology and I realized there are programs that align with my future career. Okay, so then I settled for Sociology. So I just completed a master's in Sociology, and I think it's worth it. I didn't do a mistake. It's worth it.
I like how you say you didn't do a mistake. I like that.
Okay, sure.
So one thing that I'm taking note of is, for you, this was a passion. So your career is passion driven.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is for you to have passion in what you want to do in terms of your career? Okay,
so you know, growing up in primary school, teachers usually ask, what do you want to be in future? What do you want to be in future? I had two careers that I wanted to become when I grew up. Yeah. First, it was journalist, because those days in Ghana, my mother listens to news a lot. Shout out to my mother. She listens to news a lot every evening. TV3. So there's this man in TV3 that I really like, Roland Walker.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I want to be like this man. So growing up, I wanted to be a journalist. Then it got to a time I wanted to be an ambassador. But then I didn't want to enter into politics. But then I wanted to be an ambassador. So going to the university, I did development studies. And in development studies, there are programs that I had passion to pursue. Community studies. You need to enter into community, to study community. So in UDS, we were running trimester. That's the only university in Ghana that runs trimester. The rest of the universities run semester. So we go 3 times.
Trimester, so trimester is 3 times?
3, yeah. Semester is 2. First semester, second semester.
Oh!
But trimester is 3. Okay. First trimester, second trimester, and third trimester. Yes.
Yeah, that's something new for me.
That's the only university in Ghana that runs trimester. Good. So, in University for Development Studies, your 3rd trimester, you don't go to classroom. There's an act of parliament that is mandatory for every student in UDS to go to the community, to stay with the community for, I think, 8 weeks or so, 2 months. You study the community. You look at what the community needs, as in the developmental project. You research into that. Then you come out with your research that the community needs this and that. You present it to the school. It's been credited though.
Yes.
Because if you fail, you do it again.
Oh.
And we are into groups. So studying in the community and knowing how community or village people live, I had that passion for them. That what can we do to upgrade them, to a certain standard?
Yes, yeah.
Because all the social amenities are in the cities. When you come to the city, you find a mall, you find a structured market, you find better schools, better international schools and those stuff. But people in the countryside are not having these things. So that's where I drew my passion from. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, there's something called pairwise ranking. After you've been able to get, you have a community consultation with them. You go to the elite in the community, like the chief in the community or opinion leaders, you sit with them. Oh, we need that, we need that, we need this. Because one thing about village people is, if you don't ask them what they need, and you sit somewhere and you think that, oh, they need a market, and you build a market for them, I bet you they will never use it. So they will never patronize it. Because the market might not be what they usually need. But you thinking that, oh, there's no market, so when you do it, they will not patronize it. So you need to have a consultation with them. That's one thing we learned in development studies. So we had the opinion leaders and the elites in society. You sit with them, they will tell you this and that. Then again, you call the whole community. So you have a community there, okay. Then they will align what they want. We need this, we need that. They can give you like 10, 20, thereabouts. Then you ask them again. So this is where your pairwise ranking comes in, the priorities. Okay. Which one do you think, when it comes early, it will be okay for you? Majority carries the vote. Then after everything, you go and sit and do your research. You know that this is what they need most. Yeah. Then you do it for them. So my passion was driven from that side. Okay. Then I wanted to do the public policy to speak for them. Okay. Then I didn't get it here in India or here in Kent. Then I chose sociology. And sociology too, I don't know, you know that we've gone on field trips. Few field trips. I think Masters is a 2 years, so I've had 2 field trips here in sociology. Okay. Aside that, there are certain courses that they've made us to go to the deepest part of Odisha to do a research, slum studies and other stuff. So when you look at their source of livelihood and how they live, how they do their things, you yourself, you have passion for them. You think that, no, we need to do something to upgrade these people. So my passion has been driven from my village in Amijope, where things are not that rosy, to doing community development in my bachelor's, that we enter into community, you sit with them, you live with them. So one thing about community studies is you don't go there as a big person to be drinking Vortic, like you know Vortic, mineral water. You need to drink from what they are drinking.
You need to become part of this.
Yes.
Become part of it.
In sociology, you call something investing in, like be in their shoes.
Yeah, that's true.
So you be in their shoes. We used to go to farm with them. We carry firewood with them. That when you ask them for information, they will give you, because they think they feel you are part of them. But if you come and you feel big, you sit, they will never give you the information.
That's true.
So passions were driven from there, and so this place that our teachers, our professors sent us to the deepest part of Odisha to run researches and other stuff, ethnographic researches, and we were able to come out with some studies. So these are the passions that we drove from, and we want to maximize on that. Okay, moving forward, we want to future career, we want to build a foundation where we would like to give back to society. You understand? Yes. Because if you are not able to do that, if you are all entering into lawyer, banking, engineering, who will speak for these people? Okay, so there should be a subset of people in the society that will also stand up for these marginalized people, and that's where my passion is driven from. I want to do that for society, actually.
Wow. Okay. That I think that's. I've never heard someone. Of course, people have different passions, but I love how every decision that you've made has been passion driven. I believe that the only way you can enjoy the job that you're doing is if you internally have a love for it, right? So it's important to have that. But you're giving a lot of insight. Even the knowledge that you have, it's impeccable. Many people don't have such knowledge. Even many people don't even, it's just. It's great. Yeah. Okay, fine. So another question that I want to ask is, what are universities doing wrong in the learning process? A lot of people who are in university, I understand they're learning, yes, but what are universities doing wrong in the learning process that you have seen and you've said and you've realized?
Sure. If I'm to note mistakes of the university or mistakes of universities, I can give you a series, but then let me limit myself to a few.
Nice.
University is adult education, so it is assumed that everybody who comes to university is an adult. That is the first mistake.
Okay.
That's the first mistake. Because in university, adult education, we call andragogy. The study and the practice of adult education, that's andragogy. Yeah. And in kindergarten or primary school is pedagogy. That's children education. Yeah. That's where you spoon feed. You give them every knowledge. But in university, the professor comes to the classroom thinking that you already know half of it. You
have the basis already.
Good. And even if I don't teach, you can go and read and come and write the exams.
That's true.
That is adulthood. And that is the first mistake that universities do. Okay. Also, added to that, we can also say that skills acquisition or learning skills is not part of university curriculum.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've seen. So, university is book. Let's read, let's do this, let's write exams, let's pass it and leave. Because at the end of the day, you have your final grade report, which shows that this person had A in that. But when you send the person on the field, the person lacks practical knowledge. So university education has mostly been theory. They don't have the practical knowledge. So one thing that I know is, let me share you the story. I had a friend back in the days in school. This friend was so dumb. Shout out to Ernest if you be watching me. This guy was so dumb, and even the handwriting alone, you can't see what this boy is writing. That talk of to read it. Okay.
Yes.
Now we used to tease this boy, and the boy, out of frustration or something, the boy stopped school, and the boy went into mechanics. Okay.
Yes.
He went to apprenticeship to learn mechanic work and do stuff. There was a time I went to the university. So I think first year in the university there was a funeral, one of our friends' father or something. So we all met at the funeral grounds. And I think it has been 2 years or 3 years seeing this boy, Ernest. Now the boy came with a car to the funeral grounds. All of us, we came with public transport. Yeah. He came with his own car. That day, the drinks and everything we bought, he said he would pay. So I was just looking at this boy. He said he would pay, and people were even like driving him somewhere to a cool place. Charlie, can I have my transportation? Can you please give me? People were just asking him money then. And I was one person that back in school I used to do some homeworks and other stuff because he was sitting behind me. I used to do some works for him. And I was like, hey, we need to talk, Ernest. What's up? Where have you been? I said, oh, you guys were teasing me and those stuff. I couldn't bear it. I couldn't stand it. So I went into apprenticeship, and right now I'm a master. Like, I'm done. I'm a master now. I own 2 shops over there, and I sell spare parts and those stuff. I'm even married, and wow. So now the boy has money. He entered into skill. Went to do apprenticeship. He's done. He owns 2 shops at that place. He's a master now. He also has people that are working under him. That's one side. We that we were good in school, we went to the university.
Yeah.
We are still under the care of our parents.
Okay.
If our parents doesn't give us money, we don't have it. And we are still learning, we don't have money.
It's still in the process.
We are still in the process. And I bet you, when we all complete school, 5,000 people completing, do you think the government can provide 5,000 jobs for all of us? No, it's impossible. And even if the government can provide those jobs, it is whom you know. It is politically driven. So if you are not aligned with a certain political party, and that political party is not in power, you don't get a job. You understand? So from there, I realized that no, skills is very good. Skills is very good. So those days when someone is going to learn plumbing, sewing, we look at the person and we laugh. But those are the things that are fetching the money, that are bringing money.
That's so true. That's so true.
You understand? Because I remember when I finished my school, those days back in UDS when I finished school, I suffered before getting work. All the jobs that I had, none was a government job. None was a government. All the jobs that I had were private. So assuming there's no private sector, and we are all dependent on the government. Okay, so that is when I realized that universities should enter into skill development. Okay, you know what they do in the polytechnics?
Yeah.
Polytechnics is skills.
Skills.
They should bring that curriculum. I'm not saying universities are not doing that, but it's not adequate.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
You understand?
I think even when you go to the marketplace, right, that can be seen. People actually choose to hire people who go to polytechnics.
Thank you.
Because it's number one, they have the skill,
Yeah,
the
the
skill
skills.
set. Number two, because we have this, this rhetoric that when you go to university, it means that you are on a high level, so we should pay you more. So already when you're going to work, you're expecting to be paid more.
Thank you.
The guy from the polytechnic is not expecting to be paid more. He's expecting to do a good job.
The moment the employer even sees your CV,
Yeah.
oh, this person has completed school, I can't pay this guy.
Do you have and polytechnics focus on will put you in the food.
Field
when you're
work.
still learning, right? So already you are way ahead of the
So
game.
that's two things that I can point now that
That's
the
true.
universities are not doing.
Okay.
And to my kids people, this one is for only kids. One thing that they are not doing is communication. Seriously, their communication is very poor.
Okay.
To me, that's one thing that I've realized. The communication is poor. Sometimes there will be a communique. When you follow up, you realize that it was total, like they never meant it. Starting from international office to our department, even to our hostels.
Yeah.
How can you give an information? The warden is there in front like a camera. Attention borders, whatever, I don't hear anything. Can't there be some other communique or call an international student from Africa? Whatever you said, let the person also speak the same for us to hear. So I'm in my room. You just give a communication. I didn't understand it. Then I do the opposite. When I come, you tell me that there was a communication. I announce it in the microphone. They said, how do you expect me to be? How? Even in our classroom that our professors are learning, we sometimes have to open our ears very well before we can get them. How much more you?
That's true.
So I think these are the three streams that the university is not doing that. I think the lack of it's inadequate.
Yeah. And communication for me, I think, I always talk about that communication is the most important aspect of life. If you're
That's when we build our rapport.
if you get into business, it's all communication.
Communication, everything.
Right? So if you're selling a product, it's how you communicate that gets you to success of the product.
Even in their relationships.
That's
those boyfriend, girlfriend.
You have to be very.
Communication.
That's so true, man. That's so true. Okay, fine. What is your outlook for the next 5 to 10 years? What are your outlook? What are you looking forward to for the next 5 to 10 years?
As I mentioned earlier, I want to enter into foundation. Okay. I want to build a foundation to give back to society. I have 2 classmates that I just completed with. Shweta Padma, shout out Shweta Padma. She's a young girl. She has a foundation of her own.
Serious?
That is right, Inara Foundation.
Wow.
That I've aligned myself with her. We've had few projects here in Bobonisho, and I think she's on the right course. So I promised her that, I told her that can we have similar foundation when I go back? Like, can we partner? Don't worry, your Inara Foundation Bubunisho here will be the headquarters.
Yeah.
We will just be a subset, a branch
Subset. That's
in
true.
Africa. I just want to do, because what you are doing is amazing. It was like, no problem. You are free to do it. Okay. So looking at such a young girl, having a foundation of her own. Recently, I think the recent project they did was Amrit, I think it's an Korea word, Amrit something, where, you know, these police people, the traffic police people, those securities in vantage point, those drivers, they were just giving them food and other stuff, because those people also do much work that
Much
people
work.
don't,
People
their
don't
attention
like
is not there.
People
You
don't take-
understand?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes.
people are not grateful. For
Good.
for
So
such people, yeah.
this was their recent project, but I've been in their project where street donation, we give our clothes, we bring out the clothes that we give to
You know, you're
society.
worried, yeah.
So many, we went to Katakwi with cancer. There's a cancer hospital. Is it Apollo Hospital or something here? We've gone there to have interactions with the cancer patients, the children.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just to bring smiles on their faces and other stuff. So this is one thing that I want to do.
Okay.
I want to do when I go back home. And there's also another classmate of mine, what was the name? I forget. Shruti Kamango. She doesn't own a foundation group, but she works with a foundation, Baku Foundation.
Okay.
They are also into reading. It's like a library. I think I've visited there once. It's a library that they help village people how to read and write. Okay, so they have this session that they give the books to them, they help them read, then they give the book to them to go and read on their own. They come back and they tell the story, how it is. So it's like in grades. So if you're able to pass this one, you move to the next stage, you move to the
next stage.
So when I visited their library, they have a lot of books, a lot. Some into pencil coloring, you look at it, just like kindergarten. And yeah, they are also into other things, not only in library, but I think they do other donations. So having these two streams, that I'm grateful that I aligned myself with them and we're in the same class. Yeah, I think they are even running internship programs. So anybody who wants to have an intern, they have a 15 days and a month, they will give you a certificate on that. So yeah, I think learning from these two people and a little knowledge in sociology that we have to do this. I want to enter into foundation, build a foundation that will be massive and give back to society. Okay, yeah, have a donor support certainly and give back to society. That's what I really want to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think one very important thing for those who are watching is the fact that you have to understand that in life there is nothing called a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything is always is structured in that manner.
Certainly.
So the way you're telling me that even the passion that you have is linking up with the people that you're finding in life, I like that's amazing. That's amazing. It
I
really
think
is.
Shruti even linked me to one man. I think our very last project was, I read a program in marginalization community. Yeah, communities that are marginalized. So yeah, and this teacher of ours, Ananya Mam, she's head of department and I think the associate dean of our school of liberal studies. So we were doing slum studies. So we went to one of the slums in Bubunisho, and there were some people there that they have a foundation also, the Ashraf Foundation. So Shruti linked me to, I think, the head of Ashraf Foundation.
Wow.
They also want to do something about curriculum. Okay, yeah. So we were talking, and I think I got his number, and he said they want to partner in Africa also. I was like, okay, no problem, because I will be completing soon, and I will go back. So I think we can do something. So recently we have a chat. We communicated on that, and he has given me some guidelines that they want to do here, and I think when I fuse that into the existing structures in Ghana, we can do something. So I thank my stars that this is my passion, and I've been aligned with people that can help grow this passion. So yeah, I'm grateful.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. So far, the information, the answers, everything has been amazing. Great.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. So last two questions. Obviously, when you came to India and you started your program, there's a certain belief. I just want you to talk of one belief that you had that you no longer have.
Oh.
One belief that you had, that you came with, but now has disappeared. What has that belief been? What is that?
When I entered into India, when classes started. Okay, no, not classes. It was an orientation that day.
Yeah.
And I went in late actually.
Okay.
So they were giving us orientation, this and that thing. I think it got to examination part. And this teacher was telling us, you need to do ABOs, activity-based learning, you need to do this, you need to do that. That sums out to this and that. You divide it by 3, you do this. So, the CGP and other stuff. So, yeah. Then I was like, how do you write your receipts? If you fail in a certain paper and you want to write again, or the grades that you had, you don't like it,
you want to write really good.
So that was the question I asked. So the head of the department was sitting behind me. Yeah, no, we don't do that here. If you want to pass well and move, we don't do that here. So I was like, hey, really? It's kind of university that doesn't allow receipts and wow. And when classes started, my first class was this woman. What was the philosophical roots and foundation? This woman was talking, I wasn't getting anything. Talking, I wasn't getting anything. I was like, really? This is the same woman that said, there's no receipt here. And you are talking, I'm not getting what you are saying. So do you think I will be able to write your exams and pass? So I had to believe that Indians are not friendly.
Okay.
They wouldn't avail themselves. Because the way the woman stood up and said, no, we don't do that and those stuff. And I remember the first class too, I was late. And she was like, me, my class, no, if you're late, don't come again. I was like, no, there's no liberty. There wouldn't be any liberty here. Why am I finding myself? No liberty. Because, no, my class, we don't come in late. If you don't, because then she gave a story. I had opportunity, I had a scholarship, but I was bedridden and whatever, I lost that scholarship, but still, I had to go back to school and pass and whatever. Today, I'm a teacher here, whatever. There's no excuse for anybody. Yeah. If you understand. So I was like, hey, these people wouldn't be friendly to us. And I remember I was the only African, not only the Africans, the only international student at the time. Because I think our first class, we were only 6. It was later that people were joining. I was the only international student at the time. I was like, will I be able to, integrate myself with this people? It isn't going to work.
That's true.
But then, as time moves on, I realized that I was in the best class, actually. I was in the best class.
You get to actually enjoy it.
Like, everything, they want to put me in front. Godwin, there's this girl, Akita, every day. Like, Akita will call you, hey, would you like to taste pani puri? I don't know whether you know that food. Pani puri.
No.
Oh, it's a street food, that's crunchy food. That's,
I know it, but I've never had it. Actually.
I don't know the food, but I was like, okay. Yeah. And I'm somebody that I like to try. There's no harm in trying. I like to try. Okay.
Did you enjoy it?
My first time, I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't want to also give the impression that I don't like it.
So you.
So I swallowed it. We were eating. Then she wanted to go more. I was like, no, I'm full.
I'm
good. Yeah, so when classes started, actually, I was like, no, these people wouldn't be friendly.
Okay.
They wouldn't. But as I said, I was in the best class. Sometimes when I'm communicating with my friends and I'm telling them that, oh, my class, this girl, or my mentor, they're like, are you able to communicate with them that much? Me, my class is not like that. I was like, hey, I'm in a sociology class. What do you expect? Okay. So yeah, they are friendly. Sometimes even teachers that they are not teaching you could see you and say, hi, Godwin. I was like, you haven't communicated before. Do you know me?
You know me, yeah.
Maybe my teachers have maybe they were talking and my name came in and that's what because this teacher I only see her on campus. Okay. But we haven't communicated before. So there was a time in the auditorium I was just seated. She was just passing. Hi, Godwin, how are you? I was just looking at this woman. Hey, but I don't know you. We don't talk. So then I got the impression that maybe my teachers. Okay, so yeah, do whatever you can do best, and you don't know who is watching. You don't know where the camera is. Okay. Yeah, certainly. We live in a world where CCTV cameras are all over. Some can put it on their button. They are watching you. Some too will bring a raw camera for you to know that no camera is on me. So let me behave. Yeah. But you don't know. So I think it has eroded. First, I thought they were not lovely. But I think it's yeah, they are good. They are good.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, actually,
We
so we have a podcast that we did on assumptions, but then the podcast right now is in the bank, so I don't know whether this is going to come out first or that podcast is going to come out first. But
Production.
but assumptions. So what you're saying is when you meet people for the first time, don't make assumptions about them without firstly getting to know them.
True.
Which is very important, right? But the last question that we want to look at, this is the last question. If you were to have dinner with one person, who would it be? And what question would you ask?
One person.
One person.
I know there's an African adage that let the dead bury the dead.
Okay. Yes.
Or better still, let sleeping dogs lie.
Okay.
But then I would like to resurrect one sleeping dog, or I would like to resurrect one person. My dad died early. Okay,
Oh.
he died very early,
Oh.
very early.
Condolences.
So,
Yeah.
but one thing that I remember of my dad is he was into education. I think he was an agric teacher back in the days. I remember vividly. And if I'm to choose one person to have a dinner with, it will be him. Then I'll ask that simple question: why did he leave early? Because you can't. Death is something that nobody can sway away. Because when it's coming, it has that cold hands. And it catches you. But then I would love to ask him that he should have been resilient a little bit. Because we were little, I was very little, my younger sister too was very little at the time.
That's very, yeah.
So leaving all this workload to that poor woman, my mother, it wasn't easy. So growing up, when there's nothing in the house, you will know. I will know that, no, my mother doesn't have it. When she has to, I will know. Okay, so that's one person that I would love to resurrect.
Wow.
Then I'll sit
That's amazing.
in front with him,
And
we'll have a dinner, then I'll ask him that question.
Wow.
Why did you leave so early? So I think, Osika, Jonathan, why did you leave early? Maybe you see this podcast in your grave. Why did you leave early? Please,
Wow.
come and answer.
That's the most touching. First thing I want to say is shout out to your mother, man. She has raised a man who of stage and of value.
But let me be quick to say this. Aside my mother, I've had fathers that have supported me.
Okay.
I always say this, that when I become somebody in future, I have so many people that I need to help. So many.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, so many, because some people have made impacts in my life. They are all part. When I become successful, they will be part of my success story. A lot of people, a lot. But I can't mention names, because if I start to mention names, I'll leave some.
You leave us some people.
I'll leave some people.
You didn't say, yeah.
You understand? And maybe my next help will come from them.
Yeah.
And maybe when they see this podcast, they'll be like, you didn't mention my name. So yeah, shout out to all of you. You are part of my success story. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
My teachers, everybody back home, my fathers. There was a time our house got bent. Some people had to come in. They are all part of the success story. So yeah, a lot. When I become somebody in future, they are all part of
back. Yeah, I know we do wish you the best, man. We do wish you the best, guys. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was
I'm grateful.
Amazing conversation. I tried as much to speak less. I realized when they say they are doing sociology, right? Yeah, it's a very well spoken as well. I love the way you speak. I think that one of the biggest problems is, we have people, like for me personally, I believe I'm well spoken. That's my belief.
You are eloquent. I've heard you speak one or two.
But the point that I'm trying to make is a lot of us are well spoken. A lot of us are very high in terms of the way we think.
They just need the opportunity.
They just need the opportunity to speak, right? And hearing you speak, I've had. It's been amazing. It's been interesting. I was quiet most of the time. If you're gonna watch this, I was quiet. Why? Because even the way you express yourself, the quality of speech, it's so amazing. Even the way you were throwing these words that I was like, what does this word mean? Let me write it down. The point I'm trying to make is, it's just good to see, that there are so many people out there that just are doing good, and
amazing.
Even the way they think is just amazing. I'm really great to have you. Just great to have you, right?
I'm honored. And thanks to your production team. I think they are doing amazing work.
Definitely.
Yes.
Now, thank you guys for tuning in. We hope that you stay tuned. Please subscribe to grow the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Alhamdulillah.